Hey guys, welcome to Two Split. Today we are unboxing and sort of doing a quick review of the Samsung S20 FE 5G edition. That's a lot of acronyms. FE stands for Fan Edition, aka people who don't have enough money to buy the original S20, aka me. But let's see, after all these months, is it really worth buying a Fan Edition versus the original S20 given all the discounts that has happened? I don't know, let's check it out. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's J Lyricist. You know how we do. It's the remix, baby. This one's for.
So like I said, this is the cheaper version for guys who can't afford the original version. And it does have some cutbacks to give you that price point. But let's take a look. Starting in the box, you're just gonna get the power brick. I think it's a 15-watt power brick. You're gonna get the USB-C cord and the phone itself. That's it. Maybe a SIM eject tool for prosperity, but that's everything you get in the box. If you look at the phone itself, starting with the build quality, the first place they did the cutback was the back. The back isn't Gorilla Glass, it's plastic, right? Some polycarbonate something thing. And personally, that's not even a big deal for me because plastic is more durable. When you drop it, you're more likely not to get it shattered. Glass is glass and glass breaks. But it is less premium, hence that price cut. But the sides are still aluminum though, or aluminum, or aluminum, depending on where you live, call it what you want, but that's what the sides are. So it still gives off that sheen when you turn it to the sides. And it does have IP68 water resistance, so you can still dunk this in the water. But I think you're crazy if you put any device that costs over $500 in the water because you want to see yourself underwater. Yeah, you're crazy. And that's the back. If we come to the front of the panel, again, there's a slight cutback here as well because the panel on this is I believe it's a 1080p panel in comparison to the higher version on the S20. But that's not too bad because it still has that high 120 Hz refresh rate, which is amazing, which is super bright, super smooth. And even on the original S20, if you take the max refresh, if you take it to the maximum refresh rate at 120 Hertz, it'll knock down the resolution to 1080p anyway, so no real loss there. And that's that for the front. Everything else is pretty much the same. It has dual, dual firing speakers, no headphone jack. Sorry if you're a fan, that's gone. And all the buttons are pretty much similar to where they are. The punch hole though is really small and it's really awesome. So it's hardly visible. All you gotta do is get the right wallpaper and that punch hole camera disappears. Moving on. What else is different here? The fingerprint reader is an optical reader, so it's not the fastest in the world in comparison to the ultrasonic on the other device, but again, who's worrying about milliseconds of time you take to unlock your screen? There's no rush. I'm not trying to save the world here. And the battery, I think it's pretty much an advantage here because it has a bigger battery. It's 4,500 milliamp power. So it'll last longer than that other version. And this thing comes in a Snapdragon version with the fantastic chipset, A65 chipset for 2020. So it's not gonna throttle at full heat. At least we've tried it with some games and it does handle itself pretty well, in my opinion anyway. So far so good. I mean, it still even retains wireless charging. Onto the camera modules. The first main camera sensor is 12 megapixels. It's pretty much exactly the same as the one on the original S20, with slight variations in the other two, telephoto and zoom lens. Slight variations, small aperture and all that, but it's not going to kill you. If you're not a super professional photographer, this will do in most conditions. It's not life or death, you'll be alright. It does shoot video in 4K at 60 frames per second. It has electronic stabilization, which is really good on the main sensor. On the other two, not so much. It's a bit jittery and the frame rate jumps here and there, but you can always buy a gimbal if you really need to get that buttery smooth video shot if you want it. But again, not a big loss in my book. So here's my verdict, right? And this is a super quick verdict. If you're trying to save some bucks and you want the S20 features, you should then just buy this phone. I mean, no big loss. You still have wireless charging, you still have the same main sensor, you have a bigger battery, you have a plastic back, so what? Most people have cases on their phones anyway. If you have a device that's over $500, you should have a case on your phone. Except you're crazy. Except you're crazy. Because you need a case. So it's not gonna make a difference, right? You should have that case. You have the same water resistance. You have reverse wireless charging, by the way, that's in here. So in case you need to charge your AirPods or something, you can just stick it on and still charge that. So all that is solid. But I don't know why Samsung called this a fan edition, given that if you're a true fan of Samsung, I suppose you'd probably still just buy the the original best of the best, right? So this is probably just, they should just call it the broke edition. But looking into that a bit more deeply, so this is price point about $700, $699. With all the discounts that has happened over time, if you look really hard, you could probably find a decent bargain for the original S20 that used to be $1,000 closer to this price point. So at that point, would it be worth the trade-offs? I don't know. Sound off in the comment below, but this gets my seal of approval for a good phone. I think Samsung has achieved what they've been trying to do. They want to get a phone at every price level for people who can afford the mainstream and people like me who can't, and people like others. So good job with that, Samsung. And that's it for this review. If you want to see the full unboxing, click up here. Some guy called Brian, I think he took it out of the box. I will see you guys in the next video. Keep washing those hands. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys.